Welcome back to Coin Discovery USA, the place where coin enthusiasts, collectors, and curious viewers come together to explore the hidden stories and surprising values behind the coins that most people overlook every single day. And today we are taking a deep look at the fascinating 1988 1-cent coin. A small and ordinary-looking Lincoln penny that many people would normally spend without a second thought, but which under very rare circumstances could represent an astonishing discovery worth as much as $18 million because of rare mint errors, unusual striking mistakes, and exceptional preservation that can dramatically transform a simple coin into one of the most talked about pieces in the world of modern coin collecting. And while the majority of 1988 Lincoln cents produced by the United States Mint were made for everyday circulation and remain worth only 1 cent today, collectors know that hidden among the billions struck that year there can occasionally be unusual examples that left the mint with dramatic production anomalies, and these rare mistakes are exactly what makes certain coins stand out and become highly desirable to collectors who spend years studying, researching, and searching through thousands of coins hoping to discover something extraordinary. And when the right combination of rarity, dramatic mint error, and flawless condition appears together on a single coin, the value can skyrocket far beyond what anyone would expect from a penny, which is why some collectors and market discussions have linked extremely rare hypothetical examples of the 1988 Lincoln cent with astonishing collector values approaching $18 million when extraordinary mint errors combine with elite grading conditions and intense collector demand. And to understand why this coin attracts such attention, it helps to first understand how pennies are produced at the mint. Because every Lincoln cent begins as a blank metal disc known as a planchet, which moves through a high-speed minting press where tremendous pressure forces the design of Abraham Lincoln onto the front and the Lincoln Memorial onto the reverse. And during this complex process, even the smallest mechanical problem, misalignment, or die flaw can create unusual results that collectors later identify as mint errors. And these mint errors are prized because they represent genuine production mistakes rather than damage that occurs after the coin leaves the mint, and one of the most exciting possibilities collectors search for on a 1988 penny is a strong double die variety where the design elements appear duplicated due to a misalignment during the creation of the die itself, producing visible separation in the numbers of the date or the lettering around the coin that can sometimes be seen even with the naked eye. And dramatic double die coins have historically become some of the most famous and valuable coins in the entire Lincoln cent series because they represent an error created at the earliest stage of the minting process. And if a bold double die example were discovered on a 1988 Lincoln cent with strong separation in the date or inscriptions, it could instantly capture major attention among collectors and coin researchers. And beyond double dies, collectors also look for off-center strikes which occur when the planchet is not perfectly positioned beneath the dies during the moment of striking, causing the design to appear shifted toward one side of the coin, while a blank crescent-shaped area remains on the other side. And off-center coins that still show a full readable date are especially desirable because they clearly display the minting mistake while still allowing the coin to be identified. And another fascinating error type involves broad-struck coins, which occur when the retaining collar that normally shapes the coin's edge fails to hold the planchet during the strike, allowing the metal to spread outward and create a coin with a wider diameter and softer or missing rim edges, producing a dramatic appearance that immediately signals something unusual occurred during production. And collectors are also fascinated by wrong planchet errors where the design of a penny is accidentally struck onto a blank intended for another denomination or made from a different metal composition, producing coins that look dramatically different in color, weight, or size compared to normal cents. And if a 1988 Lincoln cent were ever discovered on an unusual planchet, it would instantly become one of the most exciting discoveries in modern era coin collecting. And then there are clipped planchet errors, which happen when the metal strip used to punch out coin blanks overlaps slightly during production, leaving a curved section missing from the edge of the blank before the coin is struck. And when the coin is later struck by the dies, it displays a smooth crescent-shaped clip along the rim that collectors instantly recognize as an authentic mint error. And coins with large clean clips that still retain strong design details can become very desirable pieces illustrating the mechanical process of coin production. and additional varieties collectors search for include dramatic die cracks where fractures develop in the steel dies used to strike coins, leaving raised lines across the finished coin where metal flows into those cracks during striking. And when a portion of the die actually breaks away entirely, it can create a cut error where a large raised blob of metal appears along the coin's edge due to the missing dissection, creating a bold feature that stands out immediately to collectors examining the coin. And another intriguing possibility involves strike-through errors where grease, debris, or foreign material becomes trapped between the die and the planchet during the strike, preventing part of the design from forming correctly, and leaving unusual shapes or missing details that can look mysterious until experts analyze how the obstruction affected the striking process. And collectors also test pennies for rotated die alignment where the reverse design appears turned relative to the obverse because the dies were not properly aligned inside the press. And when such rotation is significant, it becomes a recognized mint era variety that collectors find both unusual and fascinating because it demonstrates how the mechanical alignment of the dies directly affects the finished coin. And while mint errors alone can make a coin interesting, the true excitement occurs when such an error appears on a coin preserved in exceptional condition because professional grading plays a major role in determining collector demand, and coins that retain brilliant original red luster with minimal marks and sharp detail can achieve very high mint state grades from professional grading services. And when an already rare error coin also receives an elite grade, it becomes dramatically more desirable because it represents a nearly perfect surviving example of that mistake, and this is why extraordinary theoretical valuations such as $18 million sometimes appear in discussions surrounding extremely rare coins, because the combination of rarity, condition, and historical intrigue can push collector demand to remarkable levels when only a tiny number of examples exist. And although the vast majority of 1988 Lincoln pennies remain worth exactly 1 cent in everyday circulation, the possibility that a rare error coin could be hiding among them continues to inspire collectors to search through jars of change, rolls from the bank, and long-forgotten collections looking for unusual details that others may have missed. And that sense of discovery is what makes coin collecting such a captivating hobby, because every coin carries a story from the moment it was struck to the moment it reaches a collector's hands. And sometimes the smallest coin can hold the biggest surprise, reminding us that treasures are not always hidden in distant places but can sometimes be found right in the spare change we handle every day here on Coin Discovery USA, where the search for hidden coin history never truly ends. Next, the 2001 1-cent coin that has shocked the coin collecting world because certain rare examples with unusual mint errors and striking mistakes have been discussed among collectors as potentially reaching astonishing values up to $13 million under the right circumstances, making this seemingly ordinary penny one of the most talked about modern coins among collectors who carefully examine their pocket change hoping to discover something extraordinary. Because while millions of 2001 pennies were produced by the United States Mint and most are worth only 1 cent, the world of numismatics has repeatedly proven that rare minting errors, unusual die varieties, and unique production mistakes can transform an everyday coin into an incredibly valuable collectible. And the 2001 Lincoln cent is no exception, as collectors have identified multiple types of rare possibilities that can dramatically increase its value, including off-center strikes, double die varieties, broad strike errors, clipped planchets, die cracks, die breaks, wrong planchet strikes, and even transitional composition anomalies that occasionally occur during the minting process when equipment calibration or metal feeding systems do not operate exactly as intended. And when such errors occur, they leave visible clues on the finished coin that collectors carefully search for using magnifying tools and strong lighting, because these tiny details can mean the difference between a 1-cent coin and a coin worth thousands or even millions depending on rarity, demand, and condition. And one of the most exciting possibilities associated with the 2001 penny is the potential for double die errors where the design elements such as the date, lettering, or Lincoln's profile appear slightly doubled due to a misalignment during the die creation process, which occurs when the working die receives multiple impressions from the master hub that are not perfectly aligned, resulting in a doubling effect that becomes permanently transferred onto every coin struck by that die until the problem is discovered and the die is replaced. and when such doubled die coins enter circulation, they become prized by collectors because they are true mint-made varieties rather than post-mint damage, and in the case of the 2001 cent, collectors often examine the words Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the numbers in the date for signs of separation or doubling that indicate a legitimate doubled die variety, another highly sought after possibility is the off-center strike error, which occurs when the coin blank is not properly aligned with the striking dies during the minting process, causing the design to appear partially missing and shifted toward one side of the coin, and depending on how dramatic the off-center strike is while still retaining the visible date. Such coins can become extremely desirable to collectors because they clearly demonstrate the mechanical error that occurred at the mint, and some off-center coins can be struck 10%, 30%, or even 50% off-center, with larger offsets often commanding higher premiums, especially when the date remains visible and the coin is preserved in excellent condition. And another fascinating possibility that could make a 2001 penny incredibly valuable is the wrong planchet error, where the coin is accidentally struck on a metal blank intended for a completely different denomination, such as a dime or foreign coin blank, and when this happens, the penny design appears on a planchet with a different color, weight, or size, which immediately catches the attention of experienced collectors because the coin no longer matches the standard specifications of a normal Lincoln cent, and these types of mint mistakes are extremely rare because the minting process includes multiple inspection stages designed to prevent them. But history has shown that a few examples occasionally slip through and reach circulation, where they later become valuable collectibles once discovered. And another category of mint error that collectors search for in the 2001 penny is the broad strike error, which occurs when the coin is struck without the retaining collar that normally holds the metal blank in place, causing the coin to expand outward and lose its normal rim shape, while the design spreads slightly beyond its usual diameter, creating a distinctive flattened appearance that clearly indicates the collar was missing during the strike. And although broad strikes are not as rare as some other errors, they can still command strong premiums, especially when found on modern coins in uncirculated condition. And then there are die crack and die break errors, which develop when the striking die begins to deteriorate after producing thousands or even millions of coins, eventually forming cracks that transfer onto the coins as raised lines or unusual shapes across the surface. And while minor die cracks are relatively common, larger die breaks, known as cuds, can create dramatic raised blobs of metal where a piece of the die has broken away entirely, producing a bold and highly collectible feature that makes the coin stand out immediately during inspection. And collectors also pay attention to possible clipped planchet errors, where a small curved section of the coin is missing due to a misfeed in the blank cutting machine that punches coin blanks from large sheets of metal, resulting in a crescent-shaped missing portion that clearly shows the coin blank overlapped with another blank during the cutting process, and these clips often display a characteristic weakness in the rim opposite the missing section known as the Blakesley effect, which helps confirm the clip occurred during the minting process rather than after the coin left the mint. And when such an error appears on a well-preserved 2001 cent, it can significantly increase the coin's desirability among collectors who specialize in mint errors. And beyond these commonly known error categories, there are also more unusual possibilities that excite collectors, including strike-through errors, where a foreign object such as grease, metal fragments, or fibers becomes trapped between the die and the coin blank during striking, leaving unusual impressions or missing design details on the finished coin. And depending on the size and clarity of the strike-through mark, these coins can become highly collectible because they provide direct evidence of something unusual happening during the minting process. And collectors who study mint production know that the high-speed machinery used to strike coins can produce thousands of coins per minute, which means that even a brief mechanical malfunction can create a small batch of error coins before the issue is detected and corrected, allowing a few rare pieces to escape into circulation, where they may remain unnoticed for years until someone carefully examines them. And this is exactly why so many collectors continue searching through rolls of pennies, bank boxes, and pocket change, because the next incredible discovery could be hiding in plain sight. And when a rare error coin is discovered, its potential value depends on several factors, including the type of error, the clarity and visibility of the mistake, the overall condition of the coin, and the level of demand among collectors who specialize in that particular category of mint error, and coins that combine multiple rare characteristics such as a major off-center strike combined with a doubled die or wrong planchet can become especially valuable because such combinations are extremely uncommon, and when an example is preserved in pristine mint state condition the value can rise dramatically because collectors always prefer coins with minimal wear and strong original detail. And professional coin grading services play a major role in confirming the authenticity and condition of such discoveries because they examine the coin under magnification, verify that the error occurred during the minting process, and assign an official grade that helps establish the coin's position within the collector market. And once a rare error coin is authenticated and encapsulated by a respected grading service, it can attract significant attention at auctions where collectors compete to acquire unique pieces for their collections. And over time, the most dramatic and well-preserved examples can achieve astonishing prices as demand grows and the number of known specimens remains extremely small, which is why stories occasionally circulate about modern coins reaching multi-million-dollar values under extraordinary circumstances. And while such headline-grabbing valuations represent the very highest end of the market, they illustrate an important truth in numismatics, which is that rarity combined with strong collector demand can transform even the most ordinary coin into a remarkable treasure, and this possibility continues to inspire collectors around the world to examine their coins closely. Because the next rare discovery could be sitting quietly in a jar of spare change or tucked away in an old coin roll that has not been opened in years. And the 2001 Lincoln cent serves as a perfect reminder that modern coins should never be dismissed as worthless because the complex machinery used to produce them can occasionally create fascinating errors that slip into circulation unnoticed. And every collector who searches through coins experiences the excitement of wondering whether the next coin they examine might reveal an unusual feature that changes its value forever. And that sense of discovery is what keeps the hobby alive and growing as new collectors join the search and learn how to identify the subtle details that separate ordinary coins from rare and valuable varieties. So the next time you come across a 2001 penny, take a closer look, because beneath its simple copper-colored surface there could be a rare mint error waiting to be discovered, and if the right combination of rarity, condition, and collector demand comes together, that tiny 1-cent coin could potentially be discussed among collectors as a remarkable example worth up to $13 million, proving once again that in the fascinating world of coin collecting, even the smallest piece of change can hold an incredible story and an astonishing value.